folks, so what we're going to be dealing with today are two different functions within interactivity within InDesign. One it deals with object states and the other deals with page transitions. So I'm going to start with object states. So in the sense of what we have here, imagine that you have a presentation that you want to work with that has maybe like 4 images on one page that you want to be able to have your viewer kind of like flip between all of them. So what I have here are 4 images that I did. I basically already cropped them to the right size, so they're all going to be exactly the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kind of like layer these all within the same space, just like I'm doing here. I'm going to select them all. The important thing is I do want to go ahead and select all of them. So I'm going to take my cursor out here on the side, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag. That's going to allow me to create a dotted box, which is going to select all of the elements that are within that square that I just created. And I'm going to go up to Window, and I'm going to go to Interactive, and I'm going to go to Object States. And in this particular window, it basically is going to recognize that each one of these is a state in particular. So if I go down here at the very bottom, you'll see that there's that little box with a plus sign in it. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And what that does is actually designate each item as a state that you can actually utilize. Now, the important thing is when you're dealing with interactivity, get in the habit of naming your groups of things. So it's like here, I'm going to name this one group or Wolf Gallery. You can spell it right, just like so. All right, I'm going to move that off to the side for right now. Now, having an object state is all fine and dandy, except one of the things that you want to deal with is you have to be able to control it at some point. So what I have here is actually a button that I've created. It's not a button yet. It's just basically a rectangular box that's green with an arrow next to it. I'm going to place this one down here in the very corner here. And I'm going to go up to Window, Interactive, Buttons, and Forms. And in this particular dialog box, what I want to do is I want to designate that button. So if you watched my video the last time, you may not remember that there's a button stage, and then all the rest of them are for PDF forms. And I'm going to choose button for this one. I'm also going to give it a name. Wolf button, let's say. We'll do that. And the event is what I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead and on release tap basically the anatomy of a click. So I'm going to choose on release or tap. I'm going to go to actions. And in this particular state, what this actually works for is each of these designations up to the very top deals with everything, EPUB or PDF. Down here deals with only EPUB documents. And down here deals with only PDF documents. So what I want to do is you'll notice that there's these buzzwords for, if I'm dealing with object states, you'll see that there's a thing called go to state, go to next state, go to previous state. So I'm going to choose go to next state. And I want to give it a rollover because if I want to, anything that's interactive, you want to be able to make sure that there's some kind of feedback coming to your viewer to know that that is going to do something. So when we often see a button change color, we often know that, okay, that's an active button. So I have my rollover chosen. I'm going to go in here, double click, and I'm going to change the fill color for this to something a little bit darker. Just like that. So I got normal and roll over. And in that case, what I'm going to do is, since I already designated to go to a state, the next state, I'm going to go ahead and click my preview button. And you'll see it doesn't do anything yet until I go over to the button and I go ahead and click. Click, 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 click. So it'll cycle repeatedly in this like infinite circle per se. Now, what if I wanted to actually go through the photos, but then stop at the very end per se? So if I go ahead and click on that, and I basically go up to my buttons, and you'll see that there's a check mark for stop at last state. So I'm going to click on that, and when I choose that, I can go here, click, 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 but it doesn't go any further. All right. So you can do the same thing for any of the other buttons. If it's like you want to basically be able to see it at a certain state or whatever, you can click on that button. All right. So I'm going to transition to page transitions. So I have this document here that I have created here that actually has like 4 pages that I'm going to utilize. And in a presentation, oftentimes you want to see some kind of like transition that takes place, whether it's like a fade or whether it's some kind of like blinds or something like that. I want to designate as a page transition. So how do I do that? Well, the page transitions actually works hand in hand with the pages palette. So if I go to Window, Interactive, Page Transitions, you'll see that there's this palette that kind of comes up that gives me the page transition. And I'm going to bring my pages palette up, which you kind of see that there's all 4 of these pages here. If I wanted to transition from this page to this page, what I wanted to do is I want to choose the second one. And I want to designate something. So I'm going to go to, let's say, blinds. And the preview window actually shows what it's going to do. So you can kind of see different things, whether it's like cover down, or down, left, down, right, down, left, up, right, up, whatever. Whatever you want to do at a certain speed, so slow, medium, or fast. I'm going to choose medium. Now this button here will apply it to all spreads if I wanted to. But if I want to have a different transition on each page, I want to make sure I choose that page here. So I'm going to choose something else. Let's say white. Well, I'm going to choose, let's say, uncover. We'll do that. Alright, and this one we'll just choose blinds. Alright, so I've got all 4 of these pages done. I want to go ahead and test it out. Now you notice since this is an interactive thing, it is not showing a little button because it cannot be done within an EPUB. So if I go up to File and I go to Export, basically I want to go ahead and export it to a folder that I've already created. And I want to make sure that my Adobe PDF Interactive is chosen, not print, interactive. So I'm going to choose interactive and I'm going to save that. This one I already had created one, so I'm going to replace that. And you'll notice the interactive area is a little less, has a little less options in it. Because this is primarily used as not a print function, but more of an interactive element. And what I can do is I want to make sure that all these things are correct. If I want to view it, if I want to open up in full screen view mode, I can choose that. And I can choose view after exporting. So I'm just going to say view after exporting, and I'm going to export that out. And you can see that even if I transition here, it will not work. Because in order for page transitions to work, you have to go to Menu, View, Full Screen Mode. When you choose Full Screen Mode, then you can actually have your page transitions actually work. So that's how page transitions work. Now, however, this is a Windows platform, so it does work fine. On some Mac systems, this does not work. So, depending on what system you are on, you can check and make sure that page transition works. However, it is only an Adobe PDF function. So, all right. So hopefully that gave you some information as far as interactivity within Adobe InDesign. I'll see you in the next one.